Welcome back to a brand new explainer. Today we're going on a seriously mind-bending journey through some source material that literally takes us from the roots of human history all the way into deep space. We're unpacking a text that weaves together global history, theology, and, well, a concept that is way bigger than our own planet. Buckle up, because the scale of these ideas expands really, really fast. We're starting right here on Earth and accelerating straight into a completely cosmic paradigm. Let's get right into it.
So what exactly connects ancient world religions to the upcoming space age? I know, it sounds like the setup to a sci-fi movie, right? Usually when we talk about ancient theology, we're looking backward. And when we talk about the space age, we're looking forward. But the material we're looking at today makes this massive, honestly, breathtaking leap that ties these two things together. The author basically says that understanding our spiritual past is the absolute prerequisite for our cosmic future. Let's trace how they bridge that gap.
Okay, let's dive into this. The author actually grounds us in a very specific time and place before making that giant cosmic jump. Chapter 1 opens by addressing a very modern hurdle: Japan's current prejudice against religion. You know, in contemporary Japanese society, secularism isn't just common, it's practically the default. The text points out that if folks from more religiously active countries fully grasped this level of secularism, they'd be pretty shocked. And the author argues this cultural prejudice is a huge barrier, preventing deeper spiritual exploration.
But from that observation, the author makes a really bold claim about national destiny. Quote, Japan has a responsibility as a nation that transmits new teachings. So despite being this highly secular modern state right now, the text argues Japan is actually destined to be a spiritual broadcasting station for the world. Transmitting these teachings isn't just some cultural export. It's framed as a binding duty to humanity, a responsibility to help the whole globe shift its understanding of existence.
Section 1, the single golden path, finding the common thread.
To understand what these new teachings are, we've got to zoom out to the macro level of global history. The author argues that humanity has gone through an insane amount of trial and error. We've built all these distinct, diverse civilizations and religions, but here's the tragic recurring theme the text points out. When we get hung up on the superficial differences between these groups, it almost always leads to devastating religious conflict. The core message? It is absolutely crucial to find what the author calls the single golden path running through all of them. Instead of obsessing over variations in rituals, we need to dig deeper and find the shared truth underpinning the whole human spiritual experience. Section 2, defining right faith, the crucial belief. So, how do we actually walk this single golden path? Well, the author introduces a non-negotiable foundation called right faith. According to the text, right faith is the definitive belief in the existence of the afterlife, the spirit world, and the idea that human beings are fundamentally souls. And what's really fascinating here is that the author isn't just presenting this as some abstract philosophy. The text claims to have provided tangible proof of this reality, citing hundreds of public spiritual messages meant to demonstrate that life seamlessly continues after death. The author emphasizes you absolutely have to stand on the side of this right faith. And the text is super firm about why this matters. Think about everything we try to accumulate in this life, right? Wealth, status, a nice house, degrees. The source strips all of that away, stating unequivocally that the only thing you can take back to the next world is right faith. It's a huge contrast between temporary earthly stuff and eternal spiritual understanding. Basically, right faith is your essential luggage for the soul's journey, and everything else, you literally have to leave it behind at the door. Section 3, the cosmic paradigm shift, awakening as new earthlings. Now here is where we reach the climax of the argument, and honestly, it's a monumental pivot. Everything we just talked about, world religions, ending earthly conflicts, the afterlife, the author frames those not as the end goals, but as step 1. They're just prerequisites. The text states, interaction with people of the universe, the Space Brothers, will soon begin. The logic is that proving the afterlife is actually the fundamental requirement for meeting extraterrestrials. Think about it. If we can't even comprehend our own spiritual existence or get along with each other on Earth, how on earth are we going to interact with highly advanced cosmic civilizations? As the space age approaches, understanding our spirituality becomes a matter of literal cosmic diplomacy. Because of this approaching era, the text argues we have to fundamentally shift our paradigm and awaken as new earthlings. And the author uses a brilliant metaphor for the old earthling mindset. It's like living trapped inside a tiny water globe, or a soap bubble, totally confined by earthly common sense. In that bubble, we think we're alone in the center of everything.
But to break out, we need the new Earthling mindset. This means waking up to the realities of the spirit world, accepting what we might call miracles, and fully acknowledging space people. We have to shatter that water globe to see the wider universe.
And this perfectly illustrates the author's urgent call to action. Humanity has got to break away from the heavy gravity of past common sense and face this entirely new reality. It's not just a fun thought experiment, it's framed as a matter of future survival. And this brings all our threads together. This is why Japan needs to broadcast these new teachings, why we have to find that golden path to end religious conflict, and why right faith is so essential. It's all prep work for the moment humanity steps into a much, much wider cosmic community. If we don't break our old common sense, we just won't be ready.
Which leaves us with one final profound question to wrestle with. If humanity actually adopted this massive, cosmic, new Earthling perspective, how would it completely alter the way we view our current worldly conflicts? If we zoom out far enough to recognize a shared spiritual path and find ourselves in a universe filled with advanced space brothers, do our earthly fights over territory or dogma still matter at all? Viewing things on a cosmic scale really has a way of making our divisions look incredibly small. It's a huge paradigm shift to think about. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep questioning your common sense, keep seeking those big answers, and I'll catch you in the next one.